What's going on, people? Today we're going to talk about Donald Trump's decade of billion-dollar losses. The story came out the other day in the New York Times how Donald Trump lost well over $1 billion. These are the losses that were claimed on his tax forms. Now, this isn't going to hurt him politically because rich person, not paying money, not paying taxes. We're immune to that as a society. We look for them to do certain things. We look for them to get out of certain situations. This is the norm. So what I'm here to do is not to cast judgment, because during this decade, 8 years, Donald Trump paid no taxes. None. And the Internal Revenue Service has this wonderful little quirk about it. If you have a bunch of losses in previous years, you could bring those losses up to offset current income. Can you say Amazon? Can you say Google? Can you say Apple? I'm here to dispel the game. Once again, Donald Trump protecting his family, getting over on taxes. I have no problem with that. That's something I espouse. What I want to talk about is how you can play this game. First of all, the art of holding, you're going to need all that. You're going to need the holding companies, the operating agreements. You're going to need that. You can't play this game as a sole proprietor. You cannot play this game unless you have LLCs or incorporations, or you can't play it as a normal citizen. This game is beyond your reach as a normal citizen. This game can only be played by people who go ahead and start a business. This is the only way you can play this game. You got to have a business. You've got to have LLCs. You've got to have all of this. Last night during the webinar, someone asked me, do you need to do all of this stuff to get max benefit? And I was like, absolutely. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game. Learn the rules so you can win. These are the rules to legally not paying taxes. These are the rules. Donald Trump, he's been doing this for decades. He learned from the master of Fred Trump. They've been doing this for decades. Nobody's in jail. Think about this. They got all this information that's in the newspaper. They've pulled up records, and still nothing's going to happen to him. Because they took the time, the care, and the consideration to play the game. Herm Edwards, you play the game to win. I'm going to find that. Let me see if I can find that. You play the game. Herm, you play to win the game. Let's go ahead. Get Herm up in here. This is a long time. You play to win the game. You play to win the game. That's what you do. And you cannot play to win the game unless you have LLCs and corporations and corporate banking. You can't play that game. You just can't play that game. And that is a game worth playing, because I can tell you exactly what they did. They took all of those losses, which were paper losses. He had situations with banks that got collateral. They had to give up a hotel. He had to give a bank a yacht, $100 million yacht. And on that, banks don't like getting that stuff back. You know why? It's hard to sell. It's hard to liquidate. It's just not a lot of people with the pocket change to buy $100 million yacht. This is why they don't want this stuff back. They got it back because it was collateral. But these are the lessons we should learn. Look at Amazon. Look at Apple. Look at Google. You got to set up your corporate strategy. Part of your corporate strategy is asset protection and tax reduction. This is why someone with a job can never get ahead unless they have a very high income. Because with a job, all your income is earned. So before you get the money, shoot, the government comes in with a shovel and scoops out a large percentage of your check. In the book I'm working on, I talk about that because a lot of people don't talk about the onerous tax load you have in your paycheck. We're talking about 20% of your money's gone. I mean, how would your life be if you didn't have the taxes coming out your money that you do? In tax season, every tax season you see it from what I call these new internet entrepreneurs who made some money. And they're like, whoa, what is going on with these taxes? They never prepared a tax shelter. They never set up their companies to offset the tax load because they were just doing stuff. They was just out here. I'm on the internet. I'm making money. Whoa, it took off. The horses are galloping. They're moving real fast. We got all this money, right? And then, booyah, this money comes into the corporate account and they don't have any deductions. They didn't set it up that way. It's pretty intriguing because last year I tried to help someone and she didn't really want to hear the game that I was trying to peep. I was like, did you do this? Did you do this? And I just left it alone because we were getting into murky waters. The first thing that most of the people with this money, most of the people who make millions of dollars a year and pay no taxes is they have it in their brain that I don't have to pay these taxes. So if you take someone who's coming out of a situation where they had a job and I got to pay my taxes, I got to pay my fair share. These folks don't have that mindset of my fair share. They're like, I'm out here killing dragons. I'm out here taking shots. I'm getting shot at. I'm getting beat up. I'm kicking ass. I'm taking names out here in this business world. There ain't nobody out here with me. What's that line? She wasn't in the gym shooting shots with you, Kobe. So they have a very me-centric attitude, which is a huge part of being successful with doing this game. Many people don't understand the game. Like I said, I'm going to put this Herm Edwards here. You play the game to win. You play the game to win. You don't come out here and just play the game. You play the game to win. And these guys are coming out here playing this tax shelter game to win. And I got to say, you know, I heard he was a racist, but I would still shake his hand. Fred Trump was the architect of all of this. Without Fred Trump, there would have been no Donald Trump, because Donald overestimated his abilities, and he consistently was trying to fly too high to the sun, and the wax in his wings melted. That happened to Donald quite a bit. What's up, Johnny Walden? Rob Marsh, you lose money, make money. What's up, Mentor Shelley? What's up, Aries? Yeah, for those of you guys who missed the webinar, I have 2 recordings of the art of holding. And, you know, what's going to happen with that is there's going to be more sessions, because it's a lot of information to go over. The webinar last night was 1 hour and 47 minutes, which created a problem because the file is too big for me to upload. So I'm going to have to break it up into smaller chunks. But this is, I'm going to have all that situated today. So for those of you who haven't done it, you can still go ahead and get in on the art of holding. Next Tuesday, we're going to have another session. We're going to talk about business credit, the things that you need to do to establish business credit. And I'm going to upload the, like I said, I already got one replay uploaded. The quality is not as good. This is from GoToWebinar. But all of that will be up shortly. So you can still get the next 5 trainings in advance, the art of holding webinar, and some other stuff. So just let you know that is coming. That will be set up very soon. But, you know, to Herm Edwards, you play the game to win. Charlotta Thomas, yep. Once I upload it, you can go ahead and get the art of holding webinar, and sometime today, one of the replays is already there. Just the quality's not as good as the one that I'm working on. What's up, Desi Morning? African King, exactly. Amazon made billions with a capital B and didn't pay any taxes. What's up, Benjamin Reese? Thank you, Stock Market Bill. What's up, Elizabeth Perez, AKW Beats? What's up, R.J. Williams? Cheryl Setter, Ray J. Good Lord, I didn't mail my work up in here, so y'all ain't finna mail me no check. Mary Jane, 1340. I stopped looking for refunds once I realized it's an interest-free loan to the government, and they don't pay it all back. African King, it's your money. Anthony Johnson, essentially, you won't have to pay taxes or minimum taxes. Thank you, Johnny Walton. God is no. Fred Trump was the greatest that ever did it as far as building his financial legacy. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Johnny. Dunamis, if that's what he had to fabricate earnings to the loan he got with Cohen, there's so many ways. We're going to talk about how you can play this game at your level. You don't have to be an Amazon. You don't have to be a Fred Trump. You don't have to be a Donald Trump. You could be you, but these are some of the things that you're going to need to be able to play this game. You're going to need a holding company. You're going to need an operating company, preferably operating companies. And you're going to become a master of shuffling paperwork. This is why you need the corporate checking accounts. This is how Donald Trump Essential Consultants got busted, because it looked like a shell corporation, and they just moved too quick. If they had set it up like, a year or two in advance and ran some other money through it, a lot of this stuff never would have happened. But learning from you, Glenn, and the key is not all how to make the cash, it's learning how to keep it through taxes. This is why you need the holding company. You need an S Corp if you're a single member LLC. And you need the 5 checking accounts. Let me just go ahead and drop that real quick. Everyone needs the 5 checking accounts, and this is personal. So you can go to Money Management's Basis of Finance, Wealth Development, and grab that with the 5 checking account blueprint. You're going to need that to accelerate you playing this game. Because at the end of the day, it is money management. There's a few things that are going on. There's money management and there's money acquisition. 2 very important things. So you're managing the money correctly and you're getting more money. Let me tell you how my landlord used to do this. He had all of the buildings in a trust for his kids, 2 kids. Some of the buildings were rented. The buildings that they were not rented, that were empty, they would claim a loss to offset the income that was coming in. One of the things you could do with your holding account, because see, I'm walking y'all through this gently because, last night as we were going over some stuff, there was a little confusion about, because, whenever I mention commingling of funds, people get a little confused. But essentially, what you can set up is your holding company, operating company number 1, which makes money, operating company number 2, which makes money, operating company number 3, which is a dog, loses money on paper. You can do that where you are today. You could take a hobby or something and try to turn it into a business and create these paper losses. Yes, you too can play the game. You can play the game. Anthony Bolton, I agree with what you're saying, Glenn. I think people are starting to learn that you deal with business. It is emotionless, but you have to have the heart to do it. You gotta be gangster with it. See over, thank you. What's up, Blinding Buddha? Ready, Sit, Rich TV. Yeah, because the thing is, if you are part, and this will be part of the mental gym. If you're like the average American, and if you ever use this term, your fair share, that is a symbolic of a collective mindset. You are drone speaking like that. Fred Trump he didn't give a damn. Fred Trump like, I'm going to do this. I'm out here taking all these shots, getting shot at, dealing with unions and dealing with the government. I'm not about to get in my money, not willingly. It's going to be a fight. Yes, a lot. Well, is Trump in jail? You got to remember, Trump was 70 years old when he ran for president. He's been doing this for decades. And I want you to think about it. Look at the scrutiny that Trump, the Trump family, and now due to all of this stuff, Fred Trump, nobody in jail. Nobody's going to jail. They are playing the game to win. All right, so let's talk about how do you go to jail for tax evasion? It's very tricky. If you don't have the money to pay the government, that's one thing. You don't go to jail for not having the money. Ask Willie Nelson. But when you sit down and actively construe a scheme to evade paying taxes and they can prove it, yeah, that's when you go into jail. See, when you have a business, businesses give you so many outs to legally set this up. Legally. Legally. Do you know that when you set up your company, you could do anything you want? When you set up your company, you are a king or a queen. You can these are my articles of organization. This is my operating agreement. This is my holding company. These are my operating companies. We're going to go out into the world and we're going to do X, Y, and Z. See, I'm very excited about entrepreneurship because to me it's one of the fairest things out there. You can win. Quentin Jackson, thanks for the $2 super chat. What's up, Lamo? Never been broke action pack. So to play this game, you need LLCs, plural. You need, because one strategy you can do is you could create one holding company over here. Then you go out here and create another series of companies and lease products and materials from one company to another. Doesn't matter that you own them. You get tax benefits from that. Benjamin Reese, I have 2 kids, 7 and 9, that I want to leave a legacy. Should I put them as members of my holding company? Or should I remain should it still remain an S Corp? Yep. What you can do, and this is big boy games. Let's say you set up your holding company and you gave shares. Each year, you can give shares to your kids and increase their percentage of ownership slowly and over time to avoid paying taxes. I don't do nonprofits. I know nothing about nonprofits. I've watched the big boys, and not too many of them do nonprofits. So there's no. Desi Marie wondering how the art of hoarding could we use with LIF Express. What is LIF Express? What's up, Rock and Roll Dina? See, the whole thing is, I understand for many of you, it is scary because you've never started your first company. You've never done any business. You never made any money. But once you get a taste, what's in store for you is crazy in terms of what you can set up. Where do people find out about these schemes? Thank you, Aries, for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Johnny Walden, for the $10 super chat. Where do people find this out? Where did Fred Trump find this out? Fred Trump was doing business at a high level. When you do business at a high level, you meet people at high levels. You get different game. So it wasn't so much that Fred Trump went out and sniffed this information out. as it came to him as a byproduct of doing business. Did y'all hear me? You got to go out there and do some business. This is how I know a lot. Tensy Den. What if I had all these LLCs didn't want to start a firm overseas? There's any second. No, no, no. All right. This is where you got to know the rule of law. United States rules of law that applies to LLCs do not extend off of our shores. So what you would have to do is you can have one of your LLCs get a corporation in that other country, but you got to be careful because the horror stories of dealing with these other countries and not knowing the rule of the land. Driving for LIF Express, they give you an insured car. Christian Emerson, damn, that's what's up. It seems like there's a ton of benefits to being a business owner as long as you structure up the LLC the right way. Absolutely. Jay Preston, go to moneyprofit.com, put in your email address, put in I forgot my user password, and that will get you in. Nope. African King is not a scheme. You have to pay $800 a month for a car. Good Lord. Ready, Set, Rich TV. We've been so well trained like Pavlov's dogs that we were laid to make work and pay taxes only. We lack financial intelligence. I will agree with that. Anthony Johnson, on my way to the bank with my younger cousin to open up our joint account. I'm stoked we'll start building soon. Benjamin Reese, thanks for the $10 super chat. Can't thank you enough for the information. Anthony Bolton, what are your thoughts about a C corporation? Engineer Life Skills, thanks for the $5. Your associates will put you on the game so they can do business with you. Absolutely. Let's talk about C Corps. If you're going to start a business that you're going to sell equity, you would need to do a C Corp. Now, what's C Corp? This is a corporation that is registered with the state. You have to publicly advertise that you're trying to set this up. But the beauty of a C Corp is, let's say you know that you want to get money from people. When people take these rounds of funding, they are selling part of the company. So the thing is with a C Corp, like Facebook's a C Corp. All these people who invested in Facebook, when they gave Facebook that big check, Facebook gave them a class of shares. So they got and the thing is C Corps are just, for a lot of the kind of businesses that I help people start, a C Corp is just too much. But if you're trying to start a business that you know is going to grow like crazy, a C Corp may be one of your best bets. A C Corp has dual taxation, but one of the benefits of a C Corp is you can have unlimited number of owners by selling shares and setting up your stock classification. Charlotte Thompson, thanks for your honesty and willingness to put others on the game. Thank you for the $11. Save, invest, and repeat. Hard to explain to a W-2 worker why I have to file for extension every year. I'm still trying to maneuver some money. One of the things that I have seen with people who make money is a willingness to press deadlines. I used to work for a guy, Tricky Ken is what we called him, Tricky Ken. Tricky Ken was a millionaire. I got so much business game from Tricky Ken, it was unreal. Tricky Ken was married. He had his wife on the payroll. You know, when we got our checks, I saw her name and I was like, she don't work here. And he told me, he's like, we ever get divorced, she can't say that she has no money. Because you got to put into the position of what Tricky Ken had to lose. For a lot of people, you know, having someone on a $60,000 a year salary would be like an extreme thing. But Tricky Ken was worth probably 10, 15 million, half. So 60,000 a year times 10, that's like a little bit over $500,000. A divorce, half. I mean, you know, it's a big difference. But you could play this game on a smaller level once you set up your holding company and your operating companies. You could throw in a third or fourth operating company that you know is not going to make any money. You can do a YouTube channel and do all kinds of trips and vacation to get footage, and that sucker loses money. And it offsets the gains. The losses offset the gains like you wouldn't believe. So you could be having yourself a good time, taking a vacation every month, and writing it off your taxes and legally getting benefits out the wahoo. See, this is one of the big things about playing the game. America is a corporation. To be an American is to be corporate. Going back to the days where the only people who could vote were landowners. If you don't own no land, you didn't have no vote. Look at it. We have this electoral college. Look who's really running the country. Businesses. Business owners. Corporate entities. That's who's running the country. Yeah, you could do so many things as a business owner. You are a king. And I think for many people, the level of responsibility is kind of staggering because you're responsible for everything. And that's just a lot of decisions that many people don't want to make. Tasty then. So if you have a holding company, we did a whole section last night on the art of holding. Here's the law. If you marry that woman before the business starts making some money, the courts are going to treat that business as a product of the marriage. You got to do this stuff before you get married, before you have kids. So go ahead and grab the art of holding. I guess there's some serious information on how you can get around that. Quinn Jackson, the malls in Charleston are almost empty. Malls are under assault, man. We're just going through a rapid transformation. Now, Blind and Buddha not only is America a corporation, but there are cities that are incorporated. Even departments of government are incorporated. Christian Emerson, I'm with you. 99% of the people in America don't understand the benefits of having an LLC. An LLC, it's like you're creating another person. And this person just handles money. That's the benefits. What they apply for common law marriage, they still get some money from with you if they stay with you. I'm not really up on common law marriage, but I hear that, you know, it depends on what state, what jurisdiction you're in, that it can be an issue. So I've heard about that. Just depends. But, you know, people are, because the thing is, to go to a higher level, let's look at Donald Trump. He was losing millions of dollars a year, but he still had millions. He still had the private jet. He still had the chauffeur-driven limousine. He's never lived in a regular house. He's never lived in a regular house. You play the game big, you lose the game big, you still live big. After all of this stuff, and we're going to talk about Fred Trump. Fred Trump propped Donald up because Donald, he was overambitious. He overestimated his abilities, and Fred Trump bailed Donald Trump out. I mean, what would your life be like if you can go, hey, Dad, I need $10 million. All right, here, let me write this check. Boom. What would your life be like if anytime you needed some, you can go to your father and like, hey, I need $1 million. I need 10 million. I need 3 million. I need 4 million. Hey, Dad, I need, Okay. And it's done. That's crazy. Misfinanced through a private marriage, not through the state. Ready, Set, Rich TV. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Oh, business is politics. Definitely, Mr. Orlando. Johnny, that's a money thing. That's why he gets mail order brides. You peep that. Donald hasn't married a domestic woman since I think the first one. Quentin Jackson, nobody has it better than the Rothschilds. Life lessons, aka Game on One. Life will be awesome. See, he didn't file personal bankruptcy, Josh. That's the key. Donald filed all his bankruptcies were corporate. Well, we know about an LLC. When you own a corporation, an LLC, the owner is indemnified against the losses and bad character and the bad actions of the LLC. So Donald personally was still riding around in the chauffeur-driven limousine while filing corporate bankruptcy. If you're married to the woman, you're married to the state. We had a spirited discussion about that. Personally, I don't think that you have any rights that you personally cannot enforce. If you can't take your finger or move some stuff around, those aren't rights. Having a proper holding company, operating company structure set up at the appropriate time can protect you against many things in the future, including divorce and child support. So this is one of the things, and this is why I keep talking to people. You want to get this stuff set up as soon as you can. And if you're already married, if you're already caught up in the child support system, there are options, but you got to step carefully because once they get you in that system, they don't want to let you out. They want to keep you in that system. They want to, brand you. Thank you, Ready, Set, Rich TV. The bankrupts were corporate, the divorces were personal. Absolutely. Absolutely. And see, This is why I think a lot of people support Donald Trump. He did whatever he wanted to do. He did. There are many men that wish that they could have traded up every few years with their wives. He had the ability, he had daddy's money, but he had the mindset. And this is a killer part of setting this up. You got to have the hustler's mindset that you're going to do this. Because like I said, if you were talking about because the person I was talking about, they were just like, oh, the taxes are so much. It's above my fair share. I was like, oh, Lord. At that point, I stopped talking to her. She wasn't ready for the truth. She wasn't ready. Oh, definitely. Definitely blinding Buddha. They'll never teach this stuff in school. Disney, would custodial party be at risk? What do you mean? Johnny Wall, not to get off topic, they want you to pay child support for the child's born. Uh, I can see that because there's cost. But because you have a lot of shady women out here who will assign fatherhood to the most responsible man. I had a friend who went through that. He thought the kid was his. He signed the birth certificate. Later on, he found out that the kid was not his due to a medical condition. He can't have kids. So they did the DNA test, found out the kid wasn't his. He's 8 years as this kid's father. It was devastating. He divorced a woman. She tried to get child support from him. See, you got to understand the law. Here's something that's going to blow y'all's mind. Let's say your name is Tom and you're married to your wife, Patricia. Patricia goes outside of the marriage and becomes pregnant. Legally, that is your child, even if it's not your biological child. And if you and Patricia stay together, the real sperm donor can be pushed out to the point where he can never see the kid. That's how the law works. If you, Tom, and you, Patricia, and you like, okay, man, we're gonna work this out. Y'all can push the real father out of that kid's life. This is why you got to get into the law. The law is deep. There's what seems fair, and there's what the law is. This is why you have these disproportionate sentencings and terms of incarceration. Charlotte Seta. Charlotte, if you're doing an internet business and opening holdings LLCs in Nevada, the product is made in, say, Texas. Would the operating company have to be opened in Texas, or it can be opened in another state? Well, there's a few ways you can do it. You can have everything in Nevada and open up a foreign entity corporation for Texas to make the product. Or you can have your holding company in Nevada and it can have a Texas company. What's up, Rick? Christian? Yeah, man. A lot of people don't understand the law. Miss Finance, yes, 100% true. Engineer life skills, preach. Any child produced from a marriage is the product of the husband. When I found that out, I was like, my mind was like, poof. Law don't care who dropped the sperm. The law only looks at the fact that you and Patricia are married. So if Patricia went out and got some strange dangling, it don't matter. The law does not care about that. The law is cold and clinical like that. And that's why, I believe in today's world that it should be mandatory DNA testing in the hospital before any signings or any birth certificates. Because you make that mistake, it is so much hassle to rectify and get that problem fixed. Quentin Jackson, you just got to go to law forums and listen. Rick, brown skin and tattoos get longer sentences in California. They call it hang affiliation, even not in the gang. Oh, that is a part of how we're wired as society. You ever wonder why rich people live around rich people, poor people live around poor people? It's that affiliation thing. Never forget, marriage was created for the protection of the children. Thanks for the $2, Lawrence D. Adams. Yeah, because once again, as a man who doesn't understand and doesn't know the law, going into court, you just asking to get your butt handed to you. Because, like, let's talk about this. Let's say you have a situation where your mother or your child has moved to another state, and that state is sending you child support payment paperwork. And you set a court date, and the judge was like, ask you, is this okay if we have you in this court? And you go, okay. That's called inferred consent. Many men don't understand that. They could just say, look, you have no jurisdiction over me. You have no rights over me, and challenge the jurisdiction of that court. You can get it kicked, but you have to understand how the law works. You have to understand, and it's very hard because most people don't go to court. So it's very hard not to get emotional and not to be in a get tight. Oh, Quentin Jackson, I own Disruptive Mail. I had this. Yeah, the struggle love. I feel as a man or a woman, it is your primary duty to get yourself together and to merge with someone else who has their stuff together. Because the number of chicks that I had to disavow, the number of chicks who live with people is staggering. The number of chicks who don't have their stuff together is staggering. I mean, that's the thing, because when you build yourself, you become a force to be reckoned with, because you don't need anyone else to have the life that you want. Anthony Bowden, and you're exactly right with the gang affiliation. I arrested a while back, and they were asking me where my tattoos were, and I told them I didn't have any because they were hidden by clothing. Oh, man. So understand that you, too, can participate in the American dream if you take 2 to 5 years to set this up. This is what every single person needs to do. Every single person needs the 5 checking account blueprint. Every single person needs the the art of holding. Get that stuff set up, because in the beginning, it's just going to seem like a lot of effort and time for little or nothing, because there's no money coming in. But the minute you get one of these situations, you're going to be so glad you did that. You will be so happy that you created your company, that you set things up so that you can be free. Because this is how you become a real citizen, by being an owner of a business. The perks you get are all out of proportion to the effort you put in. Quentin, I believe you drive for Uber. I met broke chicks day and night, day out, but yet they wanted the king to save them. There are some foolish women who have a disproportionate viewpoint that they can be grimy, that they cannot have their stuff together, but the man that they deserve is all that, a bag of chicks, bag of chips, the Coke. They can be like that. And this is why when I was doing Disruptive Male, I was talking about staying away from these chicks. This is what I was talking about, no struggle love. Because, the mental gym, be sure to join the mental gym. And also, the mental gym, because we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about mental environments because, believe it or not, if you are a man that believes that you need a good woman in your life to be your, quote, co-pilot, that is cultural indoctrination. And I'm going to break it down for you. When I was married, it was extremely hard for me to get ahead. See, many people feel that because you're married, you have responsibilities, that you'll work harder. And sometimes socially that's accepted. But I didn't really start making money and becoming free until that marriage was over. And I looked at that because he who finds a wife finds a good thing. And, I got a wife, she's got a set of eyes. Maybe she can weigh in on the situation. You often are giving someone privilege and position based on the place they occupy in your life versus the real talents that they bring to the situation. There's some super smart women out there. There's some killer smart women out there. They ain't all women, though. And it is wild. It is wild. All right, but let's kind of go through a few things. All right. So everyone go ahead and get Money Management, the Basics of Finance and Wealth Development at moneyincomeandprofit.com. Then under the video, there's a lot of courses to help you get some stretch. Check them out. We still have this offer. You can get the next 5 courses, the 5 trainings, because we're going to start doing this training every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So you can get the next 5 trainings, advanced purchase and save. You can get the Art of Holding webinar. There's going to be 2 more sessions to the Art of Holding webinars. So be sure to jump in that. Go onto the video. Be sure to grab that. And also be sure to get on the email list. We got a lot of trainings coming down. As let's see. As I had stated earlier, you can go to Money, Profit, and Income and you can sign up for Income Metamorphosis. This is where I'm going to put all this training, plus you will get this course, the principal escalation. We will talk about a lot of stuff. This is $250 a month, and you will get all training for $250 a month because it will go here. And you will also get the mental gym training as well. So those 2 things are for sure if you enroll in Income Metamorphosis. Thinking about adding a second day of the week for training. So look out for that. Let's see. Always ready 24/7. Benjamin Reese, I know a lot of us were ill prepared for the socialization and the change in relationships because I wish I had known some of the things that I know now before I got married. Engineer life skill. I thought I was the only one. My company did not blow up until I got divorced. One word: focus. Oh yeah, that's true. Most women are time sunk. Charlotta Thomas, amen. I'm finally finalizing a divorce, and I won't slip and think till it's over. If operating under trademark would be subject to taxes, would that begin once the company's formed? That'll be begin once you start making some money. Mentor show. There are women that empower and work with the men to become better in life and business. It depends on the woman you're with. I'm going to challenge that a little bit. That used to be the normal woman. Women are not like that today at whole, the whole lot. They're just not like that. I would say there's some special unicorns out there like that, and you get one, hold on for dear life because she's rare. But I will tell you from dating, I've ran into women with no business experience, but because they occupied the position of a woman who happened to be having sex with me, they thought that they could inform me on business decisions when they had no business experience whatsoever. And I remember I was talking to one, and I was like, that's crazy. And it's like, well, anyone can help out. And I was like, look, I've tried that before. It does not work. Oh, so, you know, with that. All right. So you know what to do. I'll see you guys later.